We've all heard those car myths that sound legit but are 100% fake. Like, premium gas makes your car faster, or you need to change your oil every 3,000 miles. Nope, lies, scams, and total nonsense. In this video, I'll show you 18 car lies that are tricking people every single day. And wait till you hear about number 7. It's so dumb you won't believe people still fall for it. Lie number 18. Electric cars are worse for the environment than gas cars. I hear this one all the time. Look, manufacturing any vehicle creates carbon emissions, EVs included. But the EPA's data shows a typical EV offsets its manufacturing footprint within the first year of driving, compared to a gas equivalent. The average electric car produces 4,100 pounds of CO2 per year, including power generation, while gas vehicles pump out nearly 3 times that much at 11,500 pounds annually. The math isn't complicated. EVs run cleaner even on today's power grid, and they get progressively cleaner as renewable energy increases. Meanwhile, your gas car will never get any cleaner than the day it rolled off the assembly line, and it only gets dirtier from there. Lie number 17. Manual transmissions save more gas than automatics. This was gospel truth back when I started working on cars. Not anymore. Modern automatics have evolved dramatically. Today's 8, 9, and 10-speed transmissions and CVTs maintain optimal engine RPM with precision. That would make even the most talented manual shifter jealous. Just look at the specs. A 2023 Honda Civic with a manual transmission gets 33 miles per gallon combined, while the CVT version hits 36 miles per gallon combined. The computers controlling these transmissions make perfect shifts every time. No human error, no missed gears, no riding the clutch. So, buy a manual because you enjoy driving one. I still do, but don't kid yourself that you're actually saving fuel. You're not. Lie number 16. Fuel additives significantly improve mileage and engine performance. These miracle-in-a-bottle products promise the world 20% better mileage, restored horsepower, cleans your entire fuel system. Here's what the business has taught me. If these additives delivered even half of what they promise, manufacturers would already build them into their engines, and oil companies would add them to premium fuels. The EPA has tested hundreds of these products. Most provide barely measurable benefits, if any. Modern gasoline already contains detergents and additives engineered specifically for your engine. The only additive I occasionally recommend is a fuel system cleaner every 15,000 miles or so for direct injection engines, which can develop carbon buildup on intake valves. Everything else, save your money for maintenance that actually matters. Lie number 15. Filling gas in the morning saves money. Man, the theory sounds like it makes sense. Cooler morning temperatures make gasoline denser, so you get more fuel for your money, right? That's not how it works. Gas station storage tanks are buried 8 to 10 feet underground, where the temperature remains nearly constant regardless of whether it's noon in July or dawn in January. That fuel stays a steady 50 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit all day long. I've measured tank temperatures myself when we've had to do fuel system repairs. The variation is negligible. You're wasting your time setting that early alarm just to fill up. Want to actually save money on gas? Use a price comparison app and time your fill-ups based on the price cycle in your area. That's worth actual dollars, not the pennies you might theoretically save chasing cooler fuel. Lie number 14. Auto parts stores provide accurate diagnostics for check engine lights. I can't tell you how many customers bring in parts they've already bought based on a free code scan at the parts store. 9 times out of 10, they've wasted their money. Here's what really happens. Your check engine light comes on. The parts store employee plugs in a code reader that tells you P0301, cylinder 1 misfire. They conveniently walk you to the spark plug aisle because that's the most common and cheapest potential fix. But that code doesn't tell you why the cylinder is misfiring. Could be a bad plug, sure. Could also be a failing coil, vacuum leak, fuel injector issue, compression problem, or a dozen other things. Reading code is just the starting point, guys. It's like a doctor immediately prescribing medication because you have a fever without figuring out what's causing it. Lie number 13. You don't need antifreeze in hot climates. The green or orange fluid in your radiator isn't just for preventing freezing, it's a sophisticated thermal management fluid that raises the boiling point of water, contains rust inhibitors that prevent corrosion, has lubricants for your water pump, prevents electrolysis between different metals. Plain water in your cooling system is like acid over time. I've pulled radiators where the aluminum has literally dissolved because someone thought coolant was just for anti-freezing. The hottest places on Earth need proper coolant more than anywhere else. Your engine runs at about 195 to 220 degrees Fahrenheit. Water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Do the math on what happens in the stop-and-go traffic in Las Vegas in July without proper coolant. Lie number 12. Women are worse drivers than men. Look, I know this one might ruffle some feathers, but the data doesn't lie. Insurance companies aren't charging young men higher premiums for fun. They're doing it because the statistics are crystal clear. Men account for 68% of all traffic fatalities, despite driving just 60% of the total miles. Men get ticketed for reckless driving at nearly 3.5 times the rate of women. The truth is that testosterone is a hell of a drug. It makes us more prone to risk-taking behavior. Great for hunting woolly mammoths 10,000 years ago, not so great for navigating a four-way stop in a Ford F-150. So, gentlemen, the next time your wife or girlfriend asks for the keys, statistically speaking, you're in safer hands. Lie number 11. Car maintenance is too complicated for the average person. This myth persists because it benefits shops that charge $25 to replace your air filter, a 30-second job requiring zero tools. Let me tell you that basic car maintenance has never been easier. With YouTube tutorials, online forums, and repair manuals, the average person can handle more maintenance than ever before. Tasks like changing oil, replacing air filters, swapping wiper blades, and changing bulbs typically require basic tools and minimal mechanical knowledge. Even replacing brake pads is within reach for a motivated DIYer with the right guidance. Modern cars are more complex under the hood, but they're also more reliable and require less frequent maintenance. And basic wear items are still basic. Come on, guys, you don't need a degree in electrical engineering to check your tire pressure. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Hey, before we get to the top 10 car lies, do me a quick favor. If you're learning something useful today, smash that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It helps the channel grow and we can keep exposing automotive nonsense together. Alright, back to the countdown. Lie number 10. Low refrigerant means your AC needs more Freon. Your AC stops blowing cold, so you grab one of those DIY recharge kits with the gauge, right? Wrong. First of all, vehicles haven't used Freon R12 since the early 1990s. Modern cars use R134A or R1234YF, and they're not interchangeable. More importantly, AC systems are completely sealed. The refrigerant doesn't get used up or burned like fuel. If your system is low, you have a leak, period. And that leak will remain after you've added more refrigerant, which means you'll be back to a warm cabin in a month or two. The proper approach is leak detection, often using UV dye, repair of the leaking component, system evacuation to remove moisture, and precise refrigerant charging by weight. Not exactly a DIY job unless you have specialized equipment. Those $29.99 refrigerant cans with gauges at the parts store, they're a band-aid on a bullet wound. Not worth it. Lie number 9. Using thicker oil for high-mileage engines. I can't tell you how many engines I've torn down that were killed by this myth. The thinking goes, my engine's getting old, so I should use thicker oil to prevent leaks and get better protection. This might have been sound advice in the 1960s, but it's terrible for modern engines. Today's engines have precise clearances measured in microns. Many use variable valve timing systems that depend on specific oil pressure and flow characteristics. Using oil that's too thick starves critical components during cold starts when oil flow is already restricted. Messes with variable valve timing, increases drag, hurting fuel economy, can raise operating temperatures. Modern oils have incredible viscosity stability. A quality synthetic in the manufacturer's recommended weight will protect your engine better than going thicker ever could. So follow your manufacturer's recommendations, not your uncle's advice from when he was wrenching on his 72 Chevelle. Lie number 8. Disconnecting the battery to test an alternator is safe. This old-school test method made sense when cars had generators instead of alternators. The theory was, if the engine stays running with the battery disconnected, your charging system works. On any car built in the last 30 years, this test isn't just wrong, it's potentially devastating to your electrical system. When you disconnect the battery while the engine is running, you remove the buffer that protects sensitive electronics from voltage spikes. I've seen alternator output spike above 60 volts for milliseconds without that battery buffer, enough to fry everything from your $2,000 infotainment system to your $1,200 engine control module. Test your charging system by measuring voltage across the battery terminals with the engine running. You should see 13.5 to 14.5 volts. Anything else means trouble. Lie number 7. Independent shops lack the capability to repair modern vehicles. Dealerships love perpetuating this myth. Your car is so sophisticated, only our factory-trained technicians with proprietary tools can service it properly. As someone who's run both dealership service departments and independent shops, I can tell you firsthand, this is marketing, not reality. Independent shops have more access than ever to manufacturer-level tools and information. The 2014 Right to Repair Agreement requires manufacturers to make diagnostic tools and service information available. Professional-grade scan tools now cover 99% of the functions of dealer tools. Many independent techs are former dealer technicians, like me, who wanted better pay and working conditions. The truth is that many independent shops offer comparable service quality at lower prices with more personalized customer service. And specialist independent shops often know specific brands better than dealerships that service multiple makes. So, don't get locked into dealer service out of unfounded fear. Lie number 6. Using a cell phone while refueling can cause explosions. We've all seen those warning signs at gas stations. Maybe you've heard stories about mobile phones causing fiery explosions. Interestingly, there has never been a verified case of a cell phone causing a gas station fire. Not one, despite billions of refueling operations with phones present. Cell phones simply don't generate enough energy to ignite fuel vapors. What does cause gas station fires? Static electricity. The Petroleum Equipment Institute has documented hundreds of these fires caused by people getting back in their vehicle during refueling, building up a static charge and then touching the nozzle without discharging the static first. Want to avoid being a fireball? Don't get back in your car during refueling. If you must, touch a metal part on your car away from the fuel filler before touching the nozzle again. The cell phone ban exists mainly because gas stations don't want distracted customers spilling fuel or driving off with a nozzle still in their car, which happens way more often than you'd think. Lie number 5. Regular tune-ups are necessary for modern cars. The word tune-up is almost meaningless for modern vehicles, yet shops still advertise them because customers keep asking for them. Back in the day, a tune-up meant replacing points, condensers, rotors, and setting ignition timing and carburetor mixture, components and adjustments that simply don't exist in modern vehicles. Today's cars have distributor-less ignition with individual coils, iridium or platinum spark plugs rated for 100,000 plus miles, computer-controlled everything, self-adjusting valves in many engines, oxygen sensors that continuously optimize the air-fuel mixture. What you should do instead is follow the manufacturer's maintenance schedule. It typically includes longer service intervals with specific inspections at milestone mileages. The old tune-up every 30,000 miles is about as relevant to modern cars as horseshoes. Save that money for the timing belt replacement that will actually prevent catastrophic engine failure. Lie number 4. Premium fuel enhances performance for all cars. Unless your vehicle specifically requires premium fuel, you're burning money for zero benefit. Modern engines have NOx sensors and computerized timing control that adjust to the fuel you're using. If your car was designed for 87 octane, it won't make more power with 93 octane. It won't get better gas mileage, it won't run cleaner, it won't last longer. Octane rating is simply a measure of the fuel's resistance to pre-ignition. It's not a measure of quality or energy content. Some cars need higher octane because they have higher compression ratios or forced induction. Everything else, you're paying extra for absolutely nothing. Some vehicles are even calibrated specifically for 87 octane, and higher octane fuel can actually cause drivability issues. I've diagnosed rough running and poor cold starts traced directly to customers using premium fuel in cars designed for regular. Lie number 3. Inflating tires to the maximum pressure on the sidewall. The sidewall of your tire might say maximum pressure 51 psi, but inflating to that pressure is completely wrong for nearly every vehicle. That number is the maximum pressure the tire can safely hold, not the recommended pressure for your vehicle. It's kind of like seeing the red line on your tachometer and thinking that's where you should cruise on the highway. Inflating to sidewall pressure creates a harsh, uncomfortable ride. Causes uneven wear, the center of your tread wears out while the edges still look new. Reduces traction, especially in wet conditions. Alters your vehicle's handling characteristics, usually for the worse, guys. The correct pressure is found on a sticker inside your driver's door jamb or in your owner's manual. This pressure was determined through extensive testing specifically for your vehicle's weight distribution, suspension design, and handling characteristics. Ignore this advice and you'll be buying new tires thousands of miles earlier than necessary. Lie number 2. Changing transmission fluid in a high-mileage vehicle will cause it to slip and fail. This myth has cost countless transmissions their lives. The psychology behind it is that someone neglects their transmission fluid for 100,000 miles. A mechanic finally convinces them to change it. 2 weeks later, the transmission starts slipping. The conclusion? The fluid change caused my transmission to fail. Man, the transmission was already failing. The old dirty fluid loaded with friction material from worn clutches was actually providing the additional friction needed to keep those worn components gripping. The clean fluid revealed the existing problem, it didn't cause it. Transmission fluid breaks down over time. It develops acidic compounds, loses lubricity, and can actually become corrosive to the very components it's supposed to protect. Modern transmissions are precision hydraulic control systems. They depend on clean, properly formulated fluid to function. Many transmission failures attributed to fresh fluid are actually improper fluid type. There are dozens, and they're not interchangeable. Lie number 1. Changing oil every 3,000 miles is mandatory. This is the granddaddy of all car maintenance myths, an outdated practice that refuses to die and costs drivers billions in unnecessary maintenance. This recommendation dates from when oil was basically refined dinosaur juice with minimal additives. Engines had primitive emission systems that contaminated oil quickly. Filtration technology was in its infancy. Engines were designed with much looser tolerances. None of this applies to modern vehicles. Today's synthetic oils and tight tolerance engines are a completely different story. Manufacturer recommendations typically range from 5,000 to 15,000 miles between changes. Many vehicles have oil life monitoring systems that accurately calculate remaining oil life based on your actual driving conditions. Changing your oil at 3,000 miles when your manual specifies 10,000 is like replacing your roof every 5 years when it's guaranteed for 30. You're just throwing money away. This myth persists because it's incredibly profitable for quick lube shops. They're not evil, they're businesses, and the 3,000-mile oil change is their bread and butter. Over the lifetime of your vehicle, following the manufacturer's actual recommendations versus the 3,000-mile myth could save you $2,000 to $3,000. That's a pretty nice vacation funded by simply RTFM, that's reading the factory manual. And that's a wrap. Which of these lies did you fall for? And what's the worst car myth someone's ever told you? Let me know in the comments below. I'm ready for some wild ones. Before you go, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want more, click on our other videos. You won't be disappointed. Thanks for watching.